So before we get into a lot of the prompts and stuff, one thing that I want everybody to think about, and it's not something that, I mean, some people it's like, well, I don't really care. I just want the content. You can check any of the content that you get from anywhere and have it kind of detect, is it AI generated or is it not? Now, I'm going to use a couple of these in some samples and just kind of show you kind of where it's going to go and go through that. But before I actually go into these, I want to kind of show you an idea of getting past that AI generated content detection. Not that we want to trick anybody necessarily, but you don't want it to sound like it's AI. And there's a lot of people out there that they're seeing so much AI stuff now. It's like, oh yeah, that's AI. Oh yeah, that's AI. You can almost pick it if you see enough of it and you look at it. Some people's like, well, it's good content, whether AI created it or not, it doesn't really matter. So whichever side you're on that, it's up to you. But what we want to do is kind of go through that process and identify it. So one of the things that I have learned from other people and through some of the process of going through and learning this is two words, perplexity and burstiness. Now, I've heard this on a couple different webinars, and I've some documentation. Where it came from, I really am not 100% sure. I've been told it was from one of our people in the Clubhouse first ChatGPT, and if it is, great. And I've got some information on them and what they've done to teach and learn and stuff. But what we've can do is we can come in there and create a prompt that basically says, when rating the content, two factors are crucial: perplexity and burstiness. Perplexity measures the complexity of text, and separately, burstiness compares the variations of sentences. Humans write with greater burstiness, for example, and we can type in this entire piece. And what I want to do is actually go through and do this. But whenever you type this out, it's going to come back and GPT is going to say, yes, I understand. And there'll be a lot more to it, but it's going to come back and say, yes, I understand, because I told it all this information. I've kind of seeded it with the information. And then it's going to come back and it says, do you understand? Yes, I do understand. And it's just replying back that it understands. So then, man, it's touchy here. Then step 2 on this is you can say, using the concepts previously discussed, rewrite the article below with high degree of perplexity and burstiness. So if you have generated something out of ChatGPT and you want to check it with the checkers that are out there, there's 3 of them that I'm going to give, that I've given you. It will go out, and I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to bring this one up. So I went out to this writer.com. It's an AI content detector. And I actually had written, and this is another one, I had just gone into Word, and I'm using an add-on, which I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. And I just typed in, write a blog post about first-time homebuyers. Now, I click on the submit button, and it comes back and it rewrites all this content in Google Docs, which is great, but it created all this information. So then I said, okay, let's paste it in here and let's just see what it says. And it came back, which was very surprising to me, that it was 93% human-generated content. Normally, whenever, and this was the first time I'd ever done it in that Google Docs. I'm not sure if there was some settings or something in there that's actually helping it perform better. Most of the time, it will come in and say 50% unsure, 30%. it'll as human generated, maybe 60%. There's, anywhere in that mid range. For it to say 93 was extremely interesting to me. And then also it's like, well, how can I get that much better? So what I did then is, using this concept of giving it that stuff about burstiness and whatever, using the concepts previously discussed, rewrite the article with the high degree of perplexity and burstiness, and then I pasted that same article into the system, and it responded back with an updated article. I then took that article and put it into the same detector, and it came back as 100% human generated, which is unusual too. I've seen it go up, 97%, 98%. The fact that it originally started at 93 was what was so scary to me, but it can't detect the difference, which, in this case, could be good, could be bad. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that one out, as far as, how good can these things actually get, and do we need to worry? No, but that thought pattern is out there. But what we want to do is, anytime that you've got existing content that you've created, and if you're deciding, hey, I need to rewrite this and have it rewrite it, you might go through and at least add this extra verbiage to it using step one. You need to remind it on what this is. The word burstiness is not a English word necessarily, but somehow by giving it the description like this, it now knows that it needs to transform that information, because it's a GPT, generative pre-trained transformer. The transformer piece can transform it based off of what you've instructed it to do. So in this case, it knows what it needs to do. And at this point, you're just supplying it with the content, and then it will rewrite it as a new prompt. And then taking that prompt and using it in these plagiarism detectors or AI content detectors, it will give you better quality by doing something like this.